I am nearly at the end of my round trip to the newsagents, and just one thing I've been thinking about on my journey to and from is I'm just going on to low power mode, is that I'm really not going to miss this London weather. It's been sunny. I just checked the weather and it's 14 degrees, blue skies, and here it's grey, showery, cold, damp, just generally quite miserable. So it's definitely one of, if not the most exciting thing about our move, is just having amazing weather. I'm in from the cold, looking a bit weathered, and I just thought I'd see how much packing Millie's done. But how much are you done, little lady? Back to it then. Round 2 of packing has begun, and I thought it might be quite nice to tell another little story about just something that we have. We have a little old sort of wooden bureau. One of the things that's been on it since we moved into the house is this. There's quite a cute little story to this champagne bottle. When Ed and I met, 2007, as I already explained in one of my other stories, met Ed in New Zealand, and then we all went to Fiji, and we spent about a month in Fiji on the beach, drinking lots of rum, just generally having the time of our lives. But Ed had to fly home. He was playing cricket for his old school. Anyone that knows Ed knows he's big on sport. So I stayed out there with Stimp, one of our friends. Right, I'm going to try and pick up where I think I left off. I'm still on my old phone. It's, thanks Mum for lending it to me, but it's a little on the old side, so we've had a few cutouts. But anyway, back to the story about this bottle. So I was in Fiji. Ed had to fly home early, and Ed very kindly, he offered to collect me from the airport. And at the time my family didn't know I was coming back. And so it was a bit of a surprise for them. But when I walked through the gate, Ed was standing there, and he had a big bunch of roses and this champagne bottle. 10 years later, in 2016, so 9 years later, sorry, 9 years later, when Ed proposed to me in this house here, in the kitchen downstairs, he was holding this champagne bottle. We'd kept it all this time unopened for a sort of special occasion, and so when we got engaged, it just seemed the perfect time to finally open this bottle from 2007. Yeah, what's the time? Well, it's 4 o'clock now. I haven't been back at it for that long, and I'm just packing up a few more belongings. But I think it's just becoming more and more apparent that I just genuinely don't know what I'm doing. The realisation is setting in that a lot of this stuff is going in for... God, I really look like a floating head. Anyway, that a lot of this stuff is actually going away for like a whole year. So it needs to be packed really, really well, and probably a lot better than I'm doing it. I don't even know how you go about packing something for an entire year. But that's why I was going to record this little video. One thing I have decided to do is, it's Christmas very, very soon, and obviously with everything going on, what I have decided that I'm going to do probably isn't going to make too many family members that happy, but is to re-gift a lot of our like personal items. You know, I think people will understand. Sorry, Imogen. You know, there's things like these photo frames, which I just think my husband's mum, my mother-in-law, would really appreciate. This is Ed and his dad on our wedding day. You know, so we can't take everything to Lisbon. This is another one. This is Ed when he was little, and his grandfather. I think she's going to really appreciate that. Who wouldn't want this lovely little part rose thing.
Okay, so my final thing that I'm going to pack up today is the wooden bureau,
Which is this thing. And just a few little trinkets in here that I wanted to share.
When we were getting married, it was compulsory that we go and do a sort of marriage guidance course for the day. And it actually ended up being really, really good fun. You know, there's a lot of tips about good communication is the key to a good marriage. But one of my favourite sections, which I've just been reading about, is the section about our roles and responsibilities in the marriage going forward. I have to read the ones that I wrote about Ed. So Ed's first responsibility is rubbish. I don't even know what I meant by rubbish. And I feel a bit bad that that's all that I think should be doing. Number 2 is driving, though. This was our little present that we got, a little wedding gift after completing our marriage guidance course. So, you know what? I'm going to take that to Lisbon. I feel like that might come in handy. Next thing is this, which is Strangers in the Night by Frank Sinatra, which was our first dance. Ed chose it. He always said that would be our first dance because the lyrics reminded him of when we first met. So after we got married, he got me this, but we just haven't ever framed it. But it's a nice little bit of memorabilia, so maybe that should go with some of the other wedding stuff. Really? Are you going to help with some hacking? Eh? Or do you want some food? I think she wants some food. Or some milk? Yeah, she knows that word. Queen bee.
It's nearly 5 o'clock and I do think that enough is enough for day one. I've done quite a bit today. I found this fetching little Christmas hat, which I think I bought in New York a few years ago. Let's go into the charity shop. But I thought I'd wear it one last time. But yeah, end of day one, what can I say? I've learned nothing. I've made more mess. But at least I've made a start. Tomorrow's a new day. I'm meeting my friend for lunch. And I've got a few other little bits to do, so probably not going to get that much done. But I've made a start, that's the main thing. Millie, do you have any words of wisdom? What have you learnt from day one? I guess we'll never know. Those final words of wisdom from Millie.